Alright, this is in response to your forum check on the Reddit, bullying Reddit. So, big thing here is your balance and the path of your ball. So, you're starting yourself off at a huge disadvantage here, right? In bowling, in any other sport, you want everything to be lined up and straight. But when you walk up to the line and you set up, look at your shoulders. Your right shoulder is super low. Now, in pretty much every sport I've ever heard of, you want your ankles, your hips, and your shoulders to all form a straight line. But what's happening, because your shoulder's so low, and you also have the bowling ball, however heavy it is, all of that pulling down, your ankles are in line with your hips, but your shoulders are way off kilter, way out of balance. So everything is pulling this way. All right. So first thing you need to do, every time you get up to the line, just get up there, roll out your shoulders, and straighten your shoulders out. All right. And that will save you from a lot of issues further down the road. You're setting yourself up for failure when you come up with your shoulders at an angle like that. The second thing is your steps. Your step speed is too fast on some steps. You get, like, in terms of slide and release, you get there at the end. But take a look at your steps. You do a 4-step. 1, 2, 3. Now this is critical area. 4. Did I lie? You do a 5-step. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, you do a 4. So this is the critical spot. 3, 4. So you get there at the end, you release and you slide, but the rest of your timing is off. This is a big issue here, right? Your bowling ball and your right leg are in each other's way. So what happens? You are forced. What color is going to show? You are forced to bring the bowling ball up and around your back in order to get around your leg, right? So the reason this is happening is the timing of when you push off the ball and how fast your first 2 steps are. So with your first step, you want to step off and push off the ball. Let's look at when you push off. Step. You start your second step. At the start of your second step is when you push off the ball. That's way too late. So you step, you push off the ball on your first step. Now the ball is already starting to come down, right? That way, on your second step, when also this step needs to come in further, on your second step, when the ball is coming down, this leg is still planted here, and the ball can come straight back, right? Now, again, remember what I said about your shoulders and how it's going to take you out of alignment. Now nothing is lined up. Your feet and your hips are out of line, and your hips and you got this whole thing out of balance. And so what's happening now is everything's going to start. You're going to bring the ball around. It's going to go this way, and your whole body is going to want to just, right? So, you got to start it with the shoulders straight, level, and we got to push off during your first step. You want your ball to be crossing your knees during your second. You want your ball to be crossing your knees here, right? Before your third step. So your ball is here. That way, when you start to take your third step, the ball is already behind you, right? That's going to keep your ball in line and out of the way. See, your ball comes way up behind your head. Your ball is almost in line with your left shoulder, right? This means your path on the downswing is going to be like that. I'm over exaggerating it a little bit. Let's see if we can draw it clear. It's going to be like that. So what happens when you have a path like this? So this is your path currently that your ball takes. If you want to throw the ball straight, you have to time it perfectly. You have to hit this window to roll the ball straight. If you hit it too early, the ball is going to go to the right, and I bet you've had this issue with consistency, hitting your target. And if you hit it too late, the ball is going to go way off to the left, right? So by lining everything up like we discussed so far, your ball path is going to end up being straight. It's going to, it's not going to be perfectly straight, but it's going to be closer to something like this, right? No, you can't see that. Let me get a different color. It's going to be closer to something like this, right? Now you have a much bigger window in your release timing to get that ball straight, right? You really have to drop it early. You really have to clench it in order to throw your shot off to the left or the right. Now your release height looks good. I would say you're throwing your left arm out too early. The reason we throw our left arm out is to balance the weight of the ball, right? So because you throw it out so early, like we talked about, all these forces taking you this way, because you throw it out so early, you're adding to that force. You want to throw your arm out during the downswing. So like here's where you start throwing your arm out, because what's happening is your ball is pulling this way a little bit, and so when you throw your arm out, that cancels out that force and keeps you going straight. So your arm goes out too early there. But other than that, your release, I'm not a one-hander, so I'm not going to touch on this a lot, but your wrist is broken. Your wrist is broken. You want to keep it cut all the way up to the release. But I can't tell you how to fix that because I'm a two-hander. But yeah, see how you end up having to do this hop? That's because all those forces are pulling you. You really want to end in as much as controlled position as you can. So let's recap. That doesn't show up. So, one, start with level shoulders. This is setting yourself up for success for the rest of your shots. Two, I'm gonna simplify it down into tempo. So this list isn't super long. You can go back and look at the video for specifics. But when I say tempo, I mean your individual steps, the speed of your individual steps, and your push-off timing. So tempo slash timing, and this also includes, when you throw your arm out. And oh yeah, there's one other thing I wanted to talk about. Your total direction of your path, like the net direction. So if we look at your steps, what's happening is the natural path for bowling is like this, right? Say this is your target. You're stepping up to that. What happens with your path is it's straight. It's completely straight. And you can see that you're instinctively aware that you want to go past, you want to follow this path. Because look at your last step. That step plants and your whole body moves around because you're trying to emulate that. So your path is like this. And then you get a big plant and everything turns around. what you want to do is, I'm gonna delete this because what you want to do is first step in and in more. Let's make that more visible. So first step in. Oh man, I'm not choosing good colors. Sorry. That's Jesus. Drawing or pulling out, it sucks. Is in. Your second step is forward, so like you're doing right now. Your third step is forward and planting for your last step. So your third step, it's forward, but you're planting like you are right now. You're planting that foot facing here, ready so that you can finish the curve of that last step, right? So your last step is sliding at your target. So your last step, say your target's here, you'll let's make it more dramatic for visuals. Your target's there, your last step is sliding towards that target. So 1 in, 2 straight, 3 straight with toes pointing towards, oh boy, but toes pointing towards where you're about to step. Continue fourth step. Fourth is slide towards target. Oh, that's not where I do. Slide towards target. Right, so that's the other thing. Is the third thing. 3 is your approach path. Good God. We'll just do there. Alright. And then I'm just going to put an asterisk here. Talk to somebody else about this because I don't know how to fix that for you. Like I said, I'm a two-hander. Stop breaking your wrist. Let's write this in a more constructive manner. Keep wrist cut. Alright, so those are the big things. Alright, hope that helped you. If you have any questions, let me know on the Reddit post.